Without a ransom note, her family would think she was dead, and eventually stop looking for her. This terrifying thought came to Natalie as she struggled to wakefulness on what must have been her second or third day in the attic. She had to escape. The only question was, how? She still didn't know where her clothes were. She didn't know the time, nor even the day. Since there was no clock in the room, and she slept so much between meals, they never let her out, not even to go to the bathroom. There was a chemical toilet and a basin of water crammed into one of the cabinets. It stank whenever she opened the door, but she didn't have a lot of choice. Her tiredness probably had something to do with the drug they'd given her in the parking lot, but she had to shake it off. No matter what, she had to get out of here before Halloween. Who knew what crazy things that man called Hawk and the empty-eyed woman had planned for her then? Next time the door opens, she promised herself, hugging her knees for courage. She knew the routine by now. When they brought her meals, 2 steps of footsteps would approach the door. One person would stay outside, while Merlin slipped in with her tray. Although she tried talking to him several times, he just shook his head like an idiot and backed out again. If she heard him, it would be his own fault. The warning creak of the stairs wasn't long coming. She tensed as the double set of footsteps approached along the passage and stopped outside her door. Very quietly, she eased herself out of bed and put her back to the wall. The bolt scraped and the door opened, its usual crack to let Merlin slip inside. Before he was completely through, Natalie sprang into action. She seized her supper from his surprised hands, elbowed him out of the way, and jammed the tray into the closing gap. A curse came from the passage, and the bird-headed stick crashed into the tray, loosening Natalie's grip. At the same time, the door was pulled shut. The tray went rattling into the corridor, and the door slammed on Natalie's fingers. She snatched her hand back with a scream, half pain, half frustration. "I hate you!" she yelled, sucking her sore knuckles. "When I get out of here, you'll be sorry. I saw your face in the parking lot. I'll identify you to the police, and then they'll lock you up. Forever and ever!" "No, Spider!" Merlin cried, breaking his rule of silence and catching her arm. "Don't make him angry, or he'll hurt Itzy." He had spaghetti and meatballs all down the front of his sweater. She shrugged him off in disgust. A nasty chuckle came from behind the closet door. Maybe a small demonstration would go amiss, but soon her little familiar will be meeting with my goshawk. After that, she won't be identifying me to anyone unless I say so. In fact, I think we'll bond her tomorrow. She'll be less trouble then. Merlin paled. "No, Father, please. Claudia says she's not ready yet. She'll be good. Won't you, Spider?" The door slammed back on its hinges. Natalie stood her ground, though her heart hammered so loudly she thought it would burst. Hawk strode in, his black hair flowing, eyes fierce yellow in the harsh shadows cast by the bare bulb. He carried his stick like a sword. His gaze swept the room, taking in the cowering Merlin, the broken plate, the spaghetti on the floor, finally coming to rest on Natalie in her crumpled spaghetti-stained shift, her hair tangled across her face. As she glared back, his lips twisted. "She looks ready enough to me. I'm aware of what you and Claudia are up to, boy. But you won't find anyone else with her sort of power in 3 days. What do you think I've been doing all these years? Watching spell banks for fun? Besides, my little spider's special," he chuckled. His stick probed Natalie's chin, pinning her against the wall. She clenched her fist, determined not to cry. "Have to clean you up a bit before the ceremony," Hawk went on. "Can't have my spell clave looking as if they'd just crawled through the thrallstone when I invade Earthhaven. Can I? A spell lord has a certain standard to keep up." "You're crazy," Natalie whispered. "All of you." This made him laugh. "You're much sweeter asleep, I must admit. But tonight, you won't need sleeping pills when I want you sweet. Come out of there, boy. Leave her to think about it. Won't do her any harm not to have any supper tonight. She's not going anywhere." The stick left her chin and hooked Merlin's elbow, tugging him out of the room. The door slammed. The bolt scraped home. Natalie sank onto the bed, trembling. "Stupid, stupid, stupid!" she hissed into the pillow. All she'd achieved was the loss of her supper, plus that chilling revelation. "You put sleeping pills in my food," she whispered, rubbing her throat, where the stick had bruised it. Of all the things they'd done to her so far, that seemed the worst. And yet, if you were real wizards, you wouldn't need drugs and locks to keep me here. She sat up and stared at the door, an idea taking root in her brain. If their powers weren't real, it would do no harm to play along, would it? Then, when her kidnappers trusted her enough to give her back her clothes, she'd run as fast and as far as she could.